That's fine. I don't, not judging anybody. All right, here we go. We're going to take this picture real quick. You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a picture of y'all and then I'm going to zoom in on y'all, all right? Cool. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Very nice, very nice. And then you two back there. Y'all look so cute. All right. 1, 2, 3, cheese. All right. All right. Here we go. This side now. 1, 2, 3, cheese. That lady said, no, I'm going to show you my phone. All right, we're good. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Woo! Is this anybody's first time on these boats? Nice, few of y'all. All right. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret of mine. First timers, y'all are my favorites. Y'all got nothing to compare me to, so I'm pretty golden up here. If you have ridden these boats before, well, just don't judge me against the other drivers. By the way, my name is Heather. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. I'll be driving the boat for you. Before we get really started here, I want to go over a couple rules because, you know, we're on a boat, so we got to be safe. First thing, and probably most important, is while the boat is in motion, please stay seated. It's pretty much guaranteed I'm going to bump a couple times. This is my first day back after being gone for about a month and a half, so I'm a little bit rusty. So I'm guaranteed to bump. So just stay in your seats. I don't want anybody falling into the water. But if you happen to find yourself in the water for whatever reason, throw your hands in the air, scream, shout, maybe throw a $5 bill up in the air. I might come get you. But after all the theatrics, just stand up because the canal's only 4 feet deep. You will be fine, I promise. Hi, guys. What? Nice. Hi. Hello, hello, hello. All right, over to my left, this is Bourbon Street Cafe. This is the only place on the canal that you can eat pretty much on the canal. It's a Cajun-style seafood place. So fun thing about Bourbon Street is they actually get their fish fresh daily from this canal. Yeah, that's how they save money. Yeah, I'm totally joking. No, they don't. But we do have fish in this canal, not because we supply it with fish, but people like to bring their pet fish out here sometimes and dump them. We have found some really big goldfish a few times. Also, these ducks that you see swim out here, they like to fly out to the river, and when they do that, they get fish eggs caught in their tail feathers, and then they come back over here, transplant them into the canal. So that's how we get fish out here. But while I'm talking about tail feathers, I've got a question for all of you. Are y'all ready for this? All right. Y'all didn't say yes, but it's okay. I know. All right. Does anybody know why these ducks out here have tail feathers? Because they're ducks? A little bit more complicated than that. It's actually to cover their butt cracks. Yeah, just FYI, I've got a lot more where that came from later. All right, what we're about to go through right now, this is what I like to call Pinball Alley. I call this Pinball Alley because I usually bounce off of these tires like a bunch of pinballs. Again, I'm very rusty, so I'll try to keep it as soft as possible, but sometimes, yeah, it's just not possible. But sometimes I just float on through. I don't always toot my own horn, but... all right in front of us, this is the Devon Centennial Mosaic. This was done by a group of students out at OCCC. OCCC is a community college a few miles south of here. It took this group of students about 3 to 4 years to complete. Altogether, this mosaic is made up of over 600,000 tiles. It shows a lot of our state symbols. So over to the left, we've got our state mammal, the American bison. We've got our state tree, the redbud. We've got our state fish, our state gaming animal, our state butterfly, our state bird. Over to the right, we've got 3 Native American women pouring water into the canal. This signifies the deep Native American history here in Oklahoma. And lining the top of the mosaic are 77 bricks. Those 77 bricks have the names of all 77 counties here in the state. And if you look down that alley in front of me, you'll see a peacock. Does anybody know what a peacock means here in Oklahoma? No? That's because it doesn't mean anything. So when they first started showcasing street art down here, they only had one rule. That rule was that your art had to have something to do with Oklahoma, hence the mosaic. But that artist, Jack Fowler, he was like, you know, that's not really fair. None of my art has anything to do with Oklahoma. So him and his friends, they got together, they protested out here a little bit, and eventually got another rule added. So now there's two rules. Either your art has to have something to do with Oklahoma, or you have to be local. So we got a peacock. When they unveiled that piece of art, one of the boat drivers, he asked Mr. Fowler, he said, "Hey Jack, why a peacock?" Mr. Fowler responded, he said, "Well, I felt like we already had enough buffalo out here. So, peacocks." So back in the early 1900s, Oklahoma City, man, this was the place to be. It was really booming out here. We had 4 railroads that intersected in Oklahoma City. Where we are right now, this was known as the Warehouse District. Lots of these buildings, they were filled to the brim with successful businesses at the time. But, I wasn't even paying attention to that. Yeah, so, something happened called the Great Depression. This forced a lot of businesses to close their doors. 3 of those railroad companies, they went belly up out here. Lots of these buildings, they were left abandoned. This brought in a lot of squatters. Crime rate went sky high out here. This lasted for decades. I actually grew up in Oklahoma City. I was born and raised out here. And when I was a kid, we didn't really come out to Bricktown pretty much for anything, but especially after dark, this just was not the place to be. But in the early 90s, we had a mayor. His name was Ron Norick. He wanted to change things out here. He wanted to bring businesses. At the time, there was an aerospace company. They were looking for a new home for their headquarters. He approached them. He asked them to come visit the city. They did. They toured the city. They went back home. They said, "Absolutely not. We want nothing to do with you. Your living is non-existent, and we will not do that to our employees." So they took their business to Indiana. After that, Ron Norick, he's like, "What can I do? How do I make this better?" Well, he came up with a plan. It was a 1-cent sales tax for 5 years. Called it the Metropolitan Area Projects, aka MAPS. Brought it to the voters. Voters voted on it, passed it with just 54% of the vote, so just barely passed. But in that first 5.5 years, that 1-cent sales tax raised more than $356 million. So that's how we got this canal, the ballpark in front of us, the Paycom Center where the Thunder plays, the Cox Convention Center, Ron Norick Library, and lots of other things. Since then, MAPS has been passed 3 more times, so we're currently on MAPS 4. Hi guys! Hello, hello, hello! I feel like they were just on my boat. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, so MAPS 4. MAPS has been a really, really great thing for our city, but one of the best things about MAPS is all of these projects that we've gotten into, we don't even break ground until it's 100% paid off. So we go into all of this debt-free, which is pretty unheard of. All right, over to my left, this is the Miller Jackson Company building. This is the oldest building on the canal. Oklahoma was made a state in 1907. That building was complete in 1909, so it's only 2 years younger than the state itself. Y'all ready to play bumper boats? Hey Stacy, somebody's calling you. Oh, look at that. I am so good. All right, on either side of us, this is Brickopolis. This is the newest addition to the canal. If you notice, Bricktown, a lot of Bricktown is really geared towards adults. City leaders, they wanted to change that. They wanted to bring family-friendly activities out here, so that's how we got Brickopolis. It's a lot of fun on both sides. Now right in front of us, this is what we like to call the Wish Bridge. We do not call the Wish Bridge because you can get up there and throw coins down and make wishes. Nope. We call this the Wish Bridge because we really wish it was not here. This bridge is very narrow. It's about 8.5 feet wide, and this boat is 8 feet wide. So if you're on my left side and you got your elbows out, you might want to bring them in for just a second. I also like to call this the Kiss Bridge because I usually kiss it with my boat. I did not tonight. Man, I'm doing good. All right, over to my right, this is the postcard mural. This was done by a UCO professor and 4 of his students. It was done in celebration of our centennial back in 2007. It shows the evolution of transportation here in the city. Would anybody like to take a guess at how long it took to complete the entire mural?
10 years.
10 years, okay. Anybody else? 1 month. All right, that's a big gap. But y'all are pretty close, actually. It took 3 days. Yeah, 3 days, yeah. So what they did was they put a projector on top of that hill over there, pointed it at the building, traced it, and the next 2 days colored it in. That is what you call working smarter, not harder. It's definitely not cheating. And now we are in the Echo Bridge. We call it that for obvious reasons. Yeah, y'all can get loud if y'all want. Yeah. Ooh, look at that. What? Yeah, so Dr. Bob Palmer, he was the UCO professor that helped with that. He was actually just here a couple months ago and he redid the whole thing. Yeah. All right, so coming out of the Echo Bridge, we have officially entered Lower Bricktown. I actually drove these boats about 11 years ago, and back then a lot of this part of the canal is a construction site, so we like to call this the imagination part of the tour, because we would just point to the construction sites and say, imagine this was here, and imagine that was here. We don't really have that problem today. Hey, listen, this is the party boat over here. I've got an actual party on the boat, okay? Yeah!
Thank you.
All right, so what we just passed here on the bottom floor, this is Revolution. Inside, they've got a bowling alley, big screen projectors where they play all the big games, big fights, all the good stuff. It's a lot of fun in there, but those top 3 floors of that building, those are condominiums. They are the only living spaces here on the canal for now. Here in Oklahoma today, the average 3-bed, 2-bath house goes for about $190,000 depending on the area. That sold in that building, it was a 2-bed, 2-bath condo. It sold for $775,000. So the reason for that big price jump is because technically, this is waterfront property. They also have a local coffee shop in that building. It's called St. Arba. I don't know if y'all have heard of it, but it's pretty good. Over here to the right, this is Harkins Theater. This big wall right here, this is the Cine Capri screen. When it was first built, that was the largest movie screen in Oklahoma. Has anybody heard of the movie Twisters? Yeah, well, fun fact. They actually held the movie premiere right here at Harkins Theaters. Glenn Powell, Anthony Ramos, like all of those stars, they came out and walked the red carpet right here in Bricktown, Oklahoma. It was very cool. Anthony Ramos actually came and rode the boats last summer. And I was still in training back then and embarrassed myself completely. Hopefully one day I will forget it. Yeah. I got another question for y'all. Y'all ready for this? All right. Where do you send a sick boat? Crickets. To the dock. All right, over to my left. This is the world's largest Sonic. Very nice, right? But I'm totally joking. That is not the world's largest Sonic. That actually used to be their corporate headquarters. However, they sold this building a few months ago, so it's not even Sonic anymore. But until they take the sign down, I still get to talk about it. That's fair shot, that's fair shot. So Sonic actually originated here in Oklahoma. It was originally known as Top Hat Diner. It was based out of Shawnee, Oklahoma, which is about 35 miles east of here. No. Hold up for me. I'm coming. Yeah, so back in the 1950s, they were a steakhouse diner. But one summer they decided to put a little shack out in their parking lot, and in that shack they sold three things. They sold hot dogs, hamburgers, and root beers, nothing else. In that one summer, that shack made more money than the diner did the entire year. So, owner of the diner, he said, I got to rethink my business plan, working around that shack. That's what he did. Eventually, he became so successful with it, he needed to expand his business. He looked into it, realized Top Hat had already been trademarked, so he had to think of a new business name. Well, he already used the slogan, service at the speed of sound, so that's how he came up with Sonic. The first official Sonic was opened in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Does anybody like Sonic drinks? Yes. What are y'all's favorites? Cherry limeade. I love it when people say that because guess what? I've got a fun fact for you. So this canal, it holds 3 million gallons of water. Sonic actually sells 9.9 million gallons of cherry limeade a year. They also sell so much ice cream in a year that you could fill this canal at least 2 times over. I bet y'all did not realize y'all were going to learn so many useless facts. All right, anybody remember how deep I said the canal was? 4 feet. Well, we have just entered the deepest part of the canal, so please don't jump over. And we are now exiting the deepest part of the canal. So right there, it's about 8 feet deep. That's where we have the drain. We drain the canal once every 3 to 5 years, and when we drain it, we find some really interesting things, which I'll talk about later, because right now we are passing the largest man-made waterfall in Bricktown. We like to call her Niagara Smalls. Woo-hoo! Hey, this lady's getting married. Yeah. Yeah. All right, over to my left. This is the only hotel on the canal for now. I want all of you to look very closely up there. Look long and hard. You'll notice a lot of those windows. Guys, they have their curtains open. If y'all ever stay at this hotel, I would like y'all to please just remember this exact moment. That would be good advice. The highest anybody paid for these tickets is $13. I'm just saying. All right, over to my right, this is the Chickasaw Plaza. Normally, it is all lit up. I don't know what's wrong with our lights, but they're not working right now. But yeah, in the middle of this plaza is a statue. His name is the Warrior. He was done by an artist named Enoch Kelly Haney. Enoch Kelly Haney is more famously known for the statue on top of our state capitol building, known as the Guardian. If you ever walk through this plaza, you'll see these plaques. There are 10 plaques altogether. These plaques, they tell some of the history of the Chickasaw Nation people. It references the Trail of Tears and a few other events that have happened. Here in the state of Oklahoma today, we have 39 federally recognized Native American tribes. They all have their own governments. I could not do Native American history justice on a 40-minute tour. There is a ton to unpack there. So if you're interested in learning about Native American history, I highly recommend visiting FAM. It's the First Americans Museum. It's about a mile east of here. They're a Smithsonian affiliate and owned and operated by Native American tribes here in the state. They go very deep into the history. Super interesting, really pretty. Cannot recommend it highly enough. Also, they're opening a new indoor water park and resort. It's called Okana. It'll be open in April of 2025. I am very excited for it. All right. Is it safe to assume that we've got a couple out-of-town visitors on the boat tonight? Maybe. Yes. All right. I'm gonna start with you two over here. Where are y'all from? Yep. Yes. Who? Texas. What part? What? Oh, okay. That's cool. I don't know where that is. Oh, okay. Past Dallas. All right, that's all you gotta say. What about y'all? Tahlequah. Did you fly here? No. All right. Well, that's awesome. I like Tahlequah. I like going to float the river. What about y'all up there? Where are y'all from? Texas. What part? Who? Amarillo. All right. Okay. Oh, so it's 5 hours the other way. It's not 5 hours south. Okay. Gotcha. All right. I know where it is, kind of. Listen. Honestly, I've never been west of El Reno, so yeah. I've seen it on the map. All right. What about you two up there? What part of Kansas? Wichita? Nice. My daughter's family is up there. They live up there in Wichita. Sweet. All right. What about all of you? Midwest City? Oh, okay. Don't know where that is. Paul Valley. Okay. Wynnewood. Hey, guess what? So I actually went to high school in Conoway, Oklahoma. Yeah, so I know all those places. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I lived in Conoway for years and never heard of Fox. That's kind of like Bing and Lada and all, like nobody ever hears of it until it's on the news. I think I just didn't pay attention. I was young. All right. Well, while y'all are in town, I've got a few places to suggest that you visit if you've got time. Right down the road, we've got the Oklahoma City Bombing Memorial. Real tearjerker, but very beautiful, especially at night. They light everything up outside. It's free to walk around out there. Super pretty. Also down the road is Scissortail Park and Myriad Botanical Gardens. They've got a lot of stuff for everybody to do. A little bit further down the road on I-40 in Western, that's about 2 miles from here, is Wheeler Park. They have the old Santa Monica Pier Ferris wheel out there. They also have this really big OKC sign. Everybody likes taking pictures with it. It's really cool. We've also got the Oklahoma City Zoo, the Science Museum, the Pigeon Museum, the Cowboy Museum, the Skeleton Museum, the Softball Hall of Fame. We got all kinds of good stuff. If you need more suggestions, just ask. But now we are in the Oklahoma history part of the tour. So back in 1889, these lands, they were unassigned lands. You were not allowed to build out here. However, that didn't stop people from trying. There were groups. They tried to build small towns out here, known as boom towns, because pretty much as soon as they came up, the army came in and tore them down. After a while, a few of those groups, they got together. They petitioned the government for the right to build out here. The government ended up saying, you know, you're going to do it anyway, so we might as well make some money while you do it. So what they did was they sectioned off 2 million acres of land into 160-acre plots and told everybody worldwide, come out on April 22nd for your chance to get some land. That's what people did. Over 50,000 people showed up that day. They all lined up at the starting line, waited for high noon to hit. As soon as that happened, the cannons went boom, and they all took off racing. Biggest horse race known to man that day. So what they had to do was they had to find a plot of land that was to their liking. As long as there was a flag planted in that land with coordinates on it, they knew that land was up for grabs. So they would pick up that flag, plant their flag in place of it, and take the original flag down to the filing office in Texas and pay $14. $14 in today's money is about $450 to $500. So to put that into perspective, in today's money, about $500 for 160 acres of land that may or may not have oil on it. Lots of people's lives changed that day. It's said that only about a third of those people were able to get land, so that's a lot of people would know where to go. They had to set up shop somewhere. Well, here in Oklahoma City, aka Oklahoma Station, that morning when the sun came up, we only had 7 registered citizens. By the time the sun went down that night, we had over 10,000. So Oklahoma City is quite literally known as the city born in a day because of the land run of 1889. Now, if you look over here to my right, you see these guys. They're on their horses. They got their flags raised. They look like they're leading the charge. They took off as soon as those cannons went boom at high noon. They followed the rules. However, we did have those people that did not follow the rules. On April 21st, in the dead of night, people we called moonlighters, they snuck onto the land and they hid in the bushes, kind of like that man in front of us. They hid in those bushes all night until they heard the cannons go off the next day. As soon as they heard those cannons go off, they started running their horses in circles, round and round, over and over. Made it look like their horse had been running just as much as the next guy, so that by the time somebody made it to their plot of land, it just looked like their horse was faster than the other guys. Some people even went so far as to put soap in their horses' mouths to make it look like they were frothing at the mouth from running so much. So we originally called them moonlighters. However, we now know them as Sooners. Alright, I'm going to switch gears for just a second. Have y'all been hearing this announcer person over here? Can y'all hear him? No, y'all didn't hear him at all. I guess I'm the only one. I normally cannot hear anything. You can? Alright. So, I want to talk about that for a second. Over here on my right, at the bottom of this sidewalk, there's a body of water down there. If y'all want to stand up and look at it, because I'm not really moving, you're more than welcome to. It's just a body of water though. But that body of water, that is the Oklahoma River. The Oklahoma River, I like pointing it out because of a pretty interesting fact about it. So the Oklahoma River is the only river in the United States that's controlled. That means we control the levels of the river year round. It never gets too high, never gets too low. So because of that, it makes it the perfect place for the practice facility for the U.S. Olympic row team. So I don't know if y'all have heard, but Los Angeles, they're hosting the Olympics in 2028. Oklahoma City, we just got word a few months ago that we will be hosting 2 of the Olympic Games right here. We're going to be hosting the softball games and canoeing. So very exciting for us. And that announcer that you're hearing now, I don't know if y'all are hearing him, but yeah. So over there at OK River Sports, on the river, they are hosting a river parade. So lots of people, they decorated their boats in Christmas lights and all kinds of stuff, and they're having a parade down the river. It's a lot of fun. They do it every year now. It's cool. Last year somebody decorated their truck, or their boat, made it look like an old time truck and raced it down the river. It was pretty cool. I was supposed to go tonight, but then I decided, come entertain y'all. That's so much better. Alright, so back to this monument. So this monument, it is made up of 45 statues. They're all done in 1/4-inch black bronze in larger than life-size scale, so 1.5 times life-size. This is the largest collection of bronze in the world. It was all done by one man. His name was Paul Moore. He was the artist in residence out at OU. It took him almost 20 years to complete. The very first statue he brought out here was in 1999. It was this man pulling the bucksword with the 2 horses entering the canal to my right. So Paul Moore, he couldn't sign this like a regular piece of art, so he did the next best thing. He put his face on the very first statue that he brought out here. So this man pulling the buckboard right here, that's Paul Moore himself. At night, it's difficult to make out his features, but during the day you can really see him, and he looks exactly like that man. Now the man next to him on that single horse right here, he's a pretty famous Oklahoman. Again, during the day you can really make out his features. At night, it's kind of difficult, but his name is Will Rogers. So Will Rogers, he was known as Oklahoma's favorite son. He was a famous singer, actor,